So we have luxury cars, luxury handbags, luxury water, luxury watches, yachts, and private planes. So why there is no such thing as luxury apps or luxury software? Their whole industry is built around billionaires spending $200 billion on a yacht they use for 2 weeks in a year to flex on their peers. So why there are no luxury options for softwares and apps that billionaires would still spend hours every day on? If you compare your phone to a multimillionaire's phone, yeah, probably the figures on the banking app is going to be different, but you would both use WhatsApp to send messages, Instagram or Twitter to share stuff, Chrome as a browser, or Google to search for things. Now, of course, there are apps for hiring private jets or whatever, but what I want to find out is why there is no $2,000 per month premium search engine for millionaires, or why there is no $1,000 premium messaging app. In 2008, an app called I Am Rich appeared on the App Store. It costed $999 and it had no real functionality other than saying, I'm rich, I deserve it, I'm good, healthy, and successful. 8 people ended up buying it, but it was removed after 24 hours from the App Store. Having an app like this can be some kind of weird flex, but it turns out luxury apps do exist. Think of all the artisans making luxury handbags for Loro Piana, the designers and tailors making Valentino dresses, or the engineers creating bespoke $5 million hypercars at Pagani. And yes, a $5 million hypercar from Pagani is not a better car than a regular Toyota or whatever, but every scratch costs you $50,000, and a car that costs 100x less still brings you from point A to point B. But this is what luxury is. It's not necessarily about high performance. It's about something that is incredibly high quality and that is the result of expert craftsmanship. And so let's look at the world of software and apps. Can an app be high quality and the result of actual craftsmanship? Well, the answer is absolutely yes. I think we all had an experience with an app or a software that works really well. Maybe it has also some cool details and touches and animation. We are definitely able to see when a piece of software is of high quality, especially because we are also very quick to notice when something is really bad. I have come across all kinds of bad software throughout the years, whether it's bugs everywhere or bad user experience or terrible visuals. We all experienced it at least once. And actually, my job in a SaaS software company allowed me to work with teams that make software, and I can tell you that this is very much craftsmanship work. Instead of leather carving tools, people have keyboards, but the concept is same. Making good software is a result of highly skilled people in their own domain, like developers and designers. And while it seems like it's something very distant from an artisanal work, I think it's really not. And so if apps and softwares can actually have quality and craftsmanship, we need to look at the next ingredient of making luxury, which is exclusivity. From the impossible exclusivity raffles to getting the latest Louis Vuitton limited edition to the ultra limited pieces that watchmakers like Richard Mille releases, humans are fascinated by having something no one else can have. We love the idea of being the top 1%, and luxury brands have become masters at this. If you want to buy one of the most limited cars that Ferrari makes, you cannot just walk into a dealership. You need to first buy 3 or 4 entry-level Ferraris. Then once you build up your collection, you can maybe hope to be called by the brand to have the privilege of spending $1 million on their latest luxury limited editions. The same has been going on with Rolex and many other luxury watchmakers. And this lore around how to get a certain limited edition only fuels the demand and interest in the product. Now, when we look at the software and apps, this is where we start to see the first cracks, because by default, software and apps can be replicated infinitely at basically zero cost. Once you develop something like Instagram, there is no cost in installing it on any new device. And speaking of Instagram, when it comes to certain types of apps, in many cases, being exclusive is actually something negative because things follow network effects. The more people have and use an app or platform, the more that platform becomes valuable. You'll want to have the most people possible on WhatsApp because you want to be able to send messages to the most people possible. So, can you build exclusivity for apps and softwares? Turns out, yes, you can. And the first way is NFTs. Now, I don't want to discuss here whether an NFT of a cartoon monkey is good or bad, but the technology behind NFT is definitely a way to build digital scarcity. And then there are waitlists and artificially limiting access to digital product to build exclusivity. Does anybody remember Clubhouse when it launched in 2021? Back then, the fact that you could only access it via invite played a key role in building up interest and demand. And don't forget that brands like Louis Vuitton are also playing the same game of increasing exclusivity artificially. For example, by removing them from the market or even destroying the unsold items. So when it comes to exclusivity, while the software is born to be infinitely replicable, there are definitely ways to introduce that sense of limited edition and create an exclusive aura. To find out why there is no such thing as luxury software, we have to look at the third ingredient of luxury, which is price and economics. So for any regular everyday item, a higher price means lower sales. You don't have to have a Nobel Prize in economics to understand this. But for luxury items, a high price is actually a key ingredient and a way of signaling and positioning themselves as better and more desirable. This is why luxury companies have very clear and similar economics for each product they sell. They have high profit margins, which they are able to get because of high price. And also for each item, they have high variable costs, which is the cost of making one unit of that product. This is the cost, for example, of hand building a luxury car or sewing together that luxury handbag. So most of the cost is actually variable. It depends on how many units they make. But for software and tech companies, the first part is also very similar. The companies also tend to have high profit margins. They're able to charge a lot more than the product costs to make. But this is the real key. This is true only for massive tech companies. Because basically all the costs of a tech company are fixed costs. Building software is very expensive. You need to hire very expensive people and give them very expensive laptops. But you need to do all of that regardless of whether you're going to sell 1 or 1 million copies of that software. So you can make a ton of money, but only if you're able to reach a certain scale of customers. And most tech companies actually lose money in their first years. And this is the reason why there is no such thing as the established luxury apps or luxury software. You're basically able to make tons of money only if you have a gigantic customer base of millions of people that are paying you to recoup those fixed costs. So, is this really it? The luxury apps cannot exist? Well, not really. I recently came across Superhuman, an exclusive email client that cost $30 a month. Yeah, you heard that right, $30 a month. Email is free for everyone. You can download any client that you can think of for free. But Superhuman managed to create one of the few truly luxury apps in existence. And they've been incredibly successful at it because they were able to crack the 3 key ingredients of luxury. The quality of this app is what really sets it apart. It's built for people that deal with tons of emails every day, and they're crafted each piece of experience to be ultra fast by allowing you to literally do anything with keyboard shortcuts. Every interaction, every animation, and every design is thought out and tested to optimize for speed. To make things even more personal, they also did something that is considered usually a terrible idea in software: a one-on-one chat with a real human to help you onboard to the app for every single user. When it comes to exclusivity, it turns out that there are a lot of people who wanted this premium email experience, and they were able to maintain Superhuman as exclusive and limited by using an invite system. Each month they allow only a certain number of users, and you can only get in if a member invites you. And finally, when it comes to price, it's just crazy for a personal email client to cost $30 a month. And as we said, it nails the first two ingredients of luxury. This high price is actually a positive differentiator for them. But now comes the problem that we just talked about. The most profitable thing for them in the short term, and what they would be pressured to do, is opening the wait list, letting anyone have this product that all these people want, and maybe over time lower the price a little bit and make it more affordable. This would actually bring them tons of cash, but this would also not make them a luxury product anymore and completely kill the branding that they have built so far. Best, I would love to see more of these luxury apps like Superhuman. I'd love to see a software company with physical stores in major cities next to Gucci or Louis Vuitton or Rolex. And why not? Because very often the luxury or premium market is where a lot of innovations come. So if you know any luxury apps that you have experienced, please drop it down in the comment and subscribe to my channel to get to know more interesting stuff.